6:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The morning news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundithavam. The President declares power, fuel and the health sectors as essential services. The future members to meet the President today. The National War Heroes ceremony to be celebrated with pride tomorrow in Battaramulla. New members have been appointed to the Police Commission. The UNDP and the National Innovation Agency partner to mainstream social innovation in Sri Lanka. In foreign news, global warming set to break key 1.5 degrees Celsius limit for the first time. And in sports, Man City thrash Real to reach Champions League final. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has issued an extraordinary Gazette notification declaring services of 3 sectors essential public services. The Gazette was issued under powers vested in him in terms of Section 2 of the Essential Public Services Act, number 61 of 1979. The Gazette notification in this regard is effective as of yesterday. Accordingly, all services connected to the supply of electricity, the supply or distribution of petroleum products and fuel, and all service, work or labour of any description whatsoever necessary or required to be done in connection with the maintenance and the reception, care, feeding and treatment of patients in hospitals, nursing homes, dispensaries and other similar institutions have been declared essential services. The Federation of University Teachers Associations will meet with President Ranil Wickremesinghe today. The future spokesperson said the discussions will focus on the issues concerning the university teachers. In the meantime, the AL exam paper evaluations will conclude next month, the Commissioner of Examinations Amit Jayasundara said. The University of Kelaniya, the University of Peradeniya and the University of Rajarata are experiencing a shortage of about 450 academic staff members, Futa pointed out. This is due to the rise in the number of academic staff leaving the service. President Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed new members to the National Police Commission. The President's Media Division said, accordingly, retired High Court Judge Lalit Ekanayake has been appointed as the chairman of the Commission. D.K. Renuka Ekanayake, Sarath Gamini De Silva, Dilshan Kapila Jayasuriya and Kanapati Pillai Karunaharan have been appointed as the members of the Commission. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Arrangements have been made to hold the National War Heroes commemoration ceremony with pride to honour the nation's war heroes who died in the 30 years of war in Sri Lanka under the patronage of the Commander-in-Chief, President Ranil Wickremesinghe, tomorrow at the Battaramulla War Heroes Memorial. A preliminary discussion was held at the Presidential Secretariat recently under the chairmanship of Sagala Ratnayaka, the President's senior advisor on national security and chief of the Presidential Staff. Former presidents, prime ministers, deputy ministers, the Speaker, the Secretary of the Ministry of Defence, chiefs of defence, as well as commanders of the 3 armed forces, including the Inspector General of Police and the war heroes who were injured in the war, the relatives of the fallen war heroes, as well as school cadet groups, will be invited to participate in this war hero commemoration ceremony. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne said that this war hero celebration has been organised this year with a special war drum beat and floral tributes to appreciate the bravery, heroism and eternal memories of the war heroes of the Army, Air Force and the Navy, Police and Civil Defence Departments who laid down their lives to secure the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the country. The chief incumbent of the Devinuwara Raja Mahaviharaya, Venerable Devinuwara Sirisunanda Thero, has been appointed the acting chief prelate of the Amarapura Kalyanavansa Mahanikaya with the unanimous agreement of the Executive Committee of the sect. The decision has been arrived at when the Executive Committee of the Amarapura Kalyanavasa Mahanikaya met yesterday. The appointment has been made to fill the chief prelate portfolio of the Amarapura Mahanikaya, left vacant following the passing away of the most venerable Dodampahala Chandrasiri Thero. Meanwhile, the Mahanayaka Thero's remains will lie in state at the Gautama Tabovanaya in Kalapaluava for the public to pay their respects until next Sunday. The cremation of the most venerable Dodampahala Chandrasiri Thero will be held with full state honours at 3 p.m. on Sunday at Independence Square in Colombo. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Social innovation is the process of developing and implementing innovative ideas, products and services to address social and environmental challenges. It is important in development as it provides new and creative solutions to complex social problems such as poverty, inequality and environmental degradation. With the increase in complexity and scale of social challenges, there is a growing need for more inclusive, collaborative and innovative approaches to address these challenges, thus making social innovation a highly promising approach in advancing the national development agenda to tackle some of the most pressing challenges facing society today. In light of this, the United Nations Development Programme in Sri Lanka, through its innovation arm, Citra Social Innovation Lab, has partnered with the National Innovation Agency to jointly address these challenges and work together to strengthen the social innovation ecosystem in Sri Lanka. The National Innovation Agency was established with the specific aim of promoting a better understanding of innovation in the fields of social sciences, science and technology, defence, environment and service, and their impact on the economy of the country, and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe and the State Minister of Social Empowerment Anupa Paskol shared a discussion with the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, yesterday at the Ministry of Finance on the regulation of the Samurdhi Bank system. The discussion focused on developing a credible system to regulate the Samurdhi banking system. During the meeting, the State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe pointed out that social empowerment is the primary objective and the responsibility of the Samurdhi Development Department, and the requirement of a transparent regulatory mechanism and digitalization of the Samurdhi banking system, and came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to a bulletin of world news. Making headlines, global warming set to break key 1.5 degrees Celsius limit for the first time. Prince Harry and Meghan say New York City car chase was relentless. Animal testing licenses for makeup banned. Overheating our world is likely to break a key temperature limit for the first time over the next few years, scientists predict. Researchers say there's now a 66% chance we will pass the 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming threshold between now and 2027. The chances are rising due to emissions from human activities and a likely El Nino weather pattern later this year. If the world passes the limit, scientists stress the breach, while worrying will likely be temporary. Hitting the threshold would mean the world is 1.5 degrees Celsius warmer than it was during the second half of the 19th century, before fuel fossil emissions from industrialization really began to ramp up. And breaking the limit even for just 1 year is a worrying sign that warming is accelerating and not slowing down. The 1.5 degrees Celsius figure has become a symbol of global climate change negotiations. Countries agreed to pursue efforts to limit global temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius under the 2015 Paris Agreement. Going over 1.5 degrees Celsius every year for a decade or two would see far greater impacts of warming, such as longer heat waves, more intense storms and wildfires. But passing the level in one of the next few years would not mean that the Paris limit had been broken. Scientists say there is still time to restrict global warming by cutting emissions sharply. Prince Harry, Meghan and her mother were involved in a near-catastrophic car crash, a spokesperson for the couple claimed. The incident happened after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex attended an awards ceremony in New York on Tuesday. In a statement, their spokesperson said the relentless pursuit lasted for more than 2 hours and resulted in multiple near collisions. The New York Police Department said there were no arrests or injuries. The UK government has banned the issuing of licenses for animal testing of chemicals used in ingredients in cosmetic products. The government has allowed animal testing for makeup ingredients to resume despite a 25-year ban. A recent court ruling said the government changed a policy on animal testing to align with the EU chemical rules. But Home Secretary Suella Braverman said no new licenses will be granted. A ban testing for makeup ingredients was introduced in 1998 and is still in place, but the government said it changed policy to match rules in the European Union. Back to the headlines of the world news. Global warming set to break key 1.5 degrees Celsius limit for the first time. Prince Harry and Meghan say New York City car chase was relentless. Animal testing licenses for makeup banned. That concludes this bulletin of world news, and on to development news.
Development news.
Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said the Price Committee has approved to reduce the price of Bandy fertilizer or MOP fertilizer by 4,500 rupees this Yalla season. In the last Maha season, the two government-owned fertilizer companies sold a bag of 50 kilograms of Bandy fertilizer at a price of 19,500 rupees each. Also, the private sector sold a bag of it at a price of 22,500 rupees each. The Minister of Agriculture said the Price Committee, which met on May 8th, approved his proposal to reduce the price of Bandy fertilizer to 15,000 rupees, keeping in mind the aim of reducing the cost of agricultural production in the Yalla season, and came to you in development news. And taking a look at sports news, Manchester City delivered a relentless performance laced with outstanding quality to overpower holders Real Madrid and reach the Champions League final against Inter Milan in Istanbul. City have lost two previous semi-finals to Real, but they made no mistake at the joyous Etihad Stadium to now stand one down away from claiming the trophy that has always stayed tantalizingly out of reach for Pep Guardiola's team. And their display in the magical first half in particular will live long in the memory, as the masters of this tournament were left bewildered by City's brilliance. That's sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has issued an all-time high volume of 180 billion rupees treasury bills yesterday. It reportedly surpasses the CBSL's previous all-time high of 160 billion rupees and came to you in business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The Sri Lankan rupee has further strengthened against the US dollar. According to the latest report issued by the central bank, the buying price of the US dollar was recorded at 302 rupees and 42 cents, and the selling price was 316 rupees and 18 cents on Tuesday. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says that both depreciation and appreciation of the rupee against the US dollar has been recorded. The increase in the value of the rupee against the US dollar is always beneficial to the local economy and came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the western, Sabragamua, central and northwestern and Uva provinces, and also in the Gaul, Matara and Mullaitivu districts during the evening or night. A few showers may occur in the western and northwestern coastal areas and in the Jaffna district during the morning too. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President declares power, fuel and the health sectors as essential services. The future members to meet the President today. The National War Hero ceremony to be celebrated with pride tomorrow in Battaramulla. New members have been appointed to the Police Commission. The UNDP and the National Innovation Agency partner to mainstream social innovation in Sri Lanka. Global warming set to break key 1.5 degrees Celsius limit for the first time. And Man City thrash Real to reach Champions League final. That concludes this morning's news broadcast.